long story short, we had several turbulent years. He became a little bit of a pain in the ass, and we parted ways.
What happens when a rock band replaces its legendary frontman? Well, for Bad Company, it meant a brand new sound, a different kind of success, and serious tension behind the scenes. In this exclusive clip, Simon Kirke opens up about the Brian Howe era of Bad Company, how Foreigner had a big hand in Brian joining, what really went on inside the band, and why, despite the hits and tours, it was far from Simon's favourite time in the group. This clip is taken from my full interview with Simon, where he picks his 5 favourite Bad Company songs, and if you're a big fan of Bad Company, or Simon in fact, then please do check it out on the VRP Rocks channel after you watch this. So anyway, here's the untold truth about those Brian Howe years, and Simon doesn't hold back. We've spoken in the past, and you mentioned that you actually regretted the Brian period because it was different to what happened in the earlier days. So just a quick question on how Brian came in. How was that decision made? Was it a band decision? Was it a management decision? How did that work?
Well, we had as all groups with longevity, you had your ups and downs and your peaks and valleys and whatever. And it came to a point. What happened was it all kind of fell apart when John Bonham died. And Zeppelin had been going through a lot of tumultuous times. Dear John was a human wrecking ball, and it ultimately cost him his life. Peter Grant became heavily addicted to substances, and the whole management just collapsed, and Zeppelin broke up, and we kind of felt abandoned. And I was doing a lot of drugs. We all were. So Bad Company Part 1 came to an end, and we languished for several years, doing nothing. Paul Rodgers had taken off. He wanted a solo career, which was his right. And then out of the blue, I got a call from Ahmet Ertegun, who was the head of Atlantic Records, who released the Swan Song label. And he said, listen, you guys are wasting away. You spent 7 years building up this great band. Why don't you just get another singer? And I was bored. I was a little pissed off with Paul. He'd just taken off. He left the door swinging, as it were. He hadn't slammed it shut. But he was off with Jimmy doing The Firm and had a couple of solo albums. So we thought, fuck it, yeah. And I knew Mick Jones from Foreigner very well. He was a good friend at the time. And he said, look, I've been grooming this singer named Brian Howe because we think Lou Grant is going to leave. He's been threatening to leave for a long time. We're not getting on. But now Lou and me have made up. And there's this quote unquote great singer, English. You might want to try him out. So we did. And actually for the first couple of months, although it was a different genre of singing, it was more, more glam rock, if you will. It wasn't bluesy or soulful like Paul. But Brian wanted to work. He was a good-looking guy. He was eager. He wanted to fit in. And it's funny, when he passed away a few years ago, a lot of people on Facebook remember Bad Company as the lineup with Brian Howe. It was not the original lineup that obviously came in the early 70s. So when Brian passed, he, to a lot of people, was the singer of Bad Company. Long story short, we had several turbulent years. He became a little bit of a pain in the ass, and we parted ways. But once he died, that levels the playing field, and I have no animosity towards him. I sent condolences to his family, and he kept the name alive. Bad Company was that version of the band was kept alive through us going around the world and keeping Bad Company's name alive. But personally, no, it was not a great time for me.
And that's just a glimpse of the full interview that I did with Simon Kirke. You can see the full interview exclusively on the VRP Rocks YouTube channel, where he talks about what his 5 favourite Bad Company songs are. And while you're on the VRP Rocks YouTube channel, don't forget to check out any of the other interviews I've done with legends of the classic rock era. There's over 450 videos on the channel, more than 8.5 million views in total. Please just look for VRP Rocks, hit subscribe, because you don't want to miss any of the future videos that are landing very, very soon.